how that life is. That's why filmmakers would keep going back to that same height um, that we experience. It's like an altered state. And this movie has a lot of moments like that for me.
I mean, I think, the audience, we can feel how in sync you are with the actors and the story. And then when you do move the camera, it's so powerful. Like that scene when you choose to, they're kind of arguing and Jake is facing the camera and you shift and kind of eclipse. That's just so powerful. It punctuates it all the more, the fact that you're so kind of subtle with the camera, and then there's moments you choose to use it, it hits.
But this movie, I rarely move camera. But I save them for very special moments.
Yeah.
It has to move in a way people, I hope they don't. It's sometimes an omen, sometimes I have a purpose moving them. I don't move them just for the sake of moving. Instead, they move camera a lot, and the studio would ask you, where's camera movement? Because they're afraid people get bored. I think if the emotion and detail is substantial, you don't want to move the camera. So there's a life to it. You don't want to disturb the viewing. If I move something like that, like I described, some moments are happening. Something's happening. I think it's a little bit push. It's unusual.
And then your blocking is so beautiful. I mean, to me, that scene again is, we see one of the most iconic two shots to me in cinema, where or in the following scene where Heath is kind of holding on to Jake and they're almost looking away from each other, and both of their hats are in the frame. I mean, how do you get that kind of sophisticated blocking and framing without getting in the way of these performances? That amazes me.
I think blocking, if you block it right, it makes it easy for actors to perform. I think that's and for audience to perceive the scenes the way you want them. I think blocking is something I think about when I get up in the morning before I go to shooting day. That's all I'm thinking is blocking. Once you do the block out early in the morning, usually in our typical shooting days, we go there, actors go there a little earlier, they do the makeup, halfway they come out. That's when everybody had breakfast, we gather together, and I still rehearse, run through the scene one more time. That's blocking, when you have the real set. After blocking, I fashion the shot in my head like very quickly. And tell the AD what's the shots, and everybody go to work. Then I don't have to worry about the whole day. I just tuning stuff. That's our typical working days. So blocking is like almost everything. It's a framing you put for a scene. And I think actors, they have a feeling once you do the blocking, that gives them a hint of where their character is in that situation. They know the chemistry of their relationship in the scene and how things are changed. I think blocking gives them a sense of what it is, what to go for. A frame, it's a structure of a scene. It's a strange thing. I think for professional filmmakers, once you block a scene, everybody seems to know what they should be doing. And usually they perceive your expectation if you block it correct. If you don't, you have a hard time. Like everything goes right, they have aria, and a lot of actors like keep talking. Everybody has a problem. The lighting has a problem. So I think that's you're asking a director like what directors do. The most important thing to me is I think it's blocking, technically. I'm not giving a film class. Everything blocked is seen differently because that's how you interpret the movie.
No, but I mean, part of what makes this such an incredible movie, even though you kind of say it made itself, it didn't. You're a classical filmmaker in that you know where to put the camera, where to put the actors, when to go wide, when to go medium, and somehow that art has been a little bit lost at this level of filmmaking.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. I want to make sure we have time for some questions from the audience too, so maybe if you have something, you can throw your hand up. I see someone right in the middle there. I'm not sure if we have an audience mic, so maybe just stand up and project. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, nice to meet you. So I have a question. As the audience, I think it's a great movie. But as a director, after 20 years, when you rewatch the movie, are there any adjustments or improvements would you like to do to make the movie greater?
Oh, for the next one, we do have a mic, but the question was, did you see anything you'd want to change about the movie, essentially?
No. Two things. First, objectively, I think this movie is, I don't know what's wrong with it. Can you tell what you're not happy with it? Movie's great. Actually, on the contrary, I thought, what have I done to deserve this movie? This movie seems to be better than me. I was half asleep. Like, how did this land here? It just take a life of its own. No, the movie's better than me, so I wouldn't do anything differently. If I do it differently, I probably would mess up. I might do too much for it. I think magic, that's why I say there's a movie god, because if I weren't so, I think people was affected by the emotion, by the humbleness, by the stoicness of the movie. If I have any energy left, I wasn't so exhausted and emotionally drained, I would do more, and I would probably ruin a lot of this movie. I wouldn't let it happen. I think a movie has a life. A filmmaker should respect that life. That you should be in awe that you're even making a movie. I think with all and respect and gratefulness, you go about your shootings. Of course, we're unhappy, we have to compromise this and that, but that's smaller compared to a movie wants to see the audience. You're like a channel, you're a vehicle that goes through you, and all the crew that you work with, we all believe, I pitched them the idea, but once they believe we believe in the same thing. It's very happy. That's why people suffer the post-production blues once the movie's done, because we're so happy, we believe in something. It seems like life has meaning. Once the movie's done, it's like you go back to real life, like chaos, like it doesn't make any sense. They have to deal with real issues. But here you deal with a story with pure emotion, with poetries. So I feel, particularly this movie, I feel very blessed. I wouldn't do anything different. Another thing is, I would say every movie, every moment I make movie, I give my best. So I have no regret. There's nothing, even something people say is bad, I disagree with them.
There's no bad Ang Lee movie. I've rewatched
because
them all.
Because I give my best. I cannot do better. I cannot alter it. That's the best. And you cannot look back and say I can do better. No, that was the best you can do. At the moment, it's happening. Everybody's there. And for people to look back and say, you could have done this and that, like, bullshit.
So I have to make it clear. In my mind, I don't think anything needs to be changed.
Sorry.
What is it? Sorry, yeah, you can, I think we had someone up there you were handing the mic to, is that, or over here? I'll let you decide, I can't really even see whose hand is raised.
I want to say movie making is one thing. It's very hard to describe what that is. But movie viewing, it's something else. As I say, when a movie comes, everybody's movie. It could be better this way, that way, but not from me. Once I've done experience, that's everything. As long as I gave everything I have in fighting, even if it's not successful, I don't judge them by how successful or craft it is. That's craft. That's not life. You know, I think that's why I keep making different movies, because if I know how to do certain things, that becomes a craft. That's not my heart. That's not my struggle. That's not fresh. I'll be pretending a virgin. So feel earnesty and experience something for the first time. That's very important. Not everything. At least there's something in movie making that has to be fresh and a challenge and nearly impossible to me. So that once I done that, I don't think that way. It could be better, but I try something else. Go on to the next journey. That's me. Every filmmaker is different.
Hi, thank you for this great movie, Mr. Lee. What do you think of the parallels that exist between the societal pressures in Brokeback Mountain and today's legal and cultural restrictions on LGBTQ people? And I think the film's editing is fascinating, especially in how it depicts the passage of time. What was the strategy for structuring and finding the pacing? Thank you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
So the first question was about LGBT issues and where we are today. You talked about what a big thing this movie became, and I think the cultural impact was major, but at the time, this was 10 years before the Supreme Court legalized gay marriage in America, and unfortunately, 10 years on the other side, we look like things are going back. But yeah, so I think the first part of the question was about how the culture and how the film lived in and interacted with it.
I wasn't thinking any of that back then. It's just the movie. I said I grew up in Taiwan. Why a Western short story made me cry. And it's lingering, for 3 years I went off to make The Hulk, but I cannot remember that. The movie belongs to me. I should be the one to make it. And I know I want to make existential love story. And the space used in Western haunts me too. Nature, love, space, repression. That's what I do best, is something to do with the repression. So that's all there is. I made Wedding Banquet before, so this is not new to me. Back then, there was more of a break, because I was doing a mainstream Taiwanese movie. It was not allowed. It was never heard of back then. So that I need to go through a mental break and know I was dealing with the issue. Even though for that movie, I wasn't thinking gay cinema either. I was thinking a traditional Chinese family drama. That's what I was going after. This is, strictly speaking, is a love story. It's just such a unique love story. The idea of Brokeback Mountain really got me. So there's nothing to do with social issue. Actually, that's the West during that period of time is like an unchanged place in a changing world. The place just like stands still. It really gets to me. So those people, they don't have the right vocabulary, unlike now we know, to process what they're going through. That's really poignant to me. I'm dramatist at heart, so that really attracts me. When the movie came out, it picked up all the political issues, and I have to answer them. I try to avoid as much as I can. Just talking, to try to get by. I heard people, this movie did a lot for those issues, helped really push the issues, but that wasn't my intention in making the movie. I just thought it's a really moving story. It's so human. If that pushes forward things, that's great. If not, I still want to make that movie because it's so poignant. It's biting. And the beauty of that is at the end, you don't know what moves you. I got that feeling too. I couldn't pinpoint and say exactly how that worked. It's all the quietness, all the details, all the lives, people bring it on screen. Little by little, it becomes so powerful. You don't know what hits you. So I don't see it as, promoting any issues. It's a love story.
Other question?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. We just so we get everyone in, or as many people in as possible. Down here in the red.
Hi, congratulations. My name is Pauline, and congratulations on
Pauline.
your receiving the DGA's Lifetime Achievement Awards. I'm actually friends of David and Sherry from NYU. Sherry worked for you as supervisor for the Quadrant Tiger. My question is regarding your films. I'm just curious, how much control do you have in when it comes to casting for your films in general?
She was asking about how much control you have in casting in your films.
In casting?
Mm-hmm.
This is a small movie. I don't need to talk to anybody. Just James and focus. I have an excellent casting director who I worked with since The Ice Storm. Her name is Avi Kaufman. Usually she will bring in the choices. I look at the photos, and then she'll show me their scenes. She edited their scenes. Some I've seen before, some I didn't. So I take it from there to narrow down. Then I decide to read them. For Heath, they're already established, even though not too famous back then. Heath Ledger and Jake, because they already are experienced actor. I saw their past works and just interviewed them, talking, just feel them out. Sometimes it takes looking at a real person to have a feeling, just to fashion the role in your head to see how the movie plays. Just watching other movie doesn't quite do it, So you meet the real person. But other than the two of them, everybody I do interview, I do readings, they act out scenes, then I decide. So very much me and AV. James brought up the names. They still want some names, so there's a talent pool and name actors for the two leads. Once they settle down, then James is my good friend, so I'll let him know who I cast, ask his feedback and all that. It's pretty normal, pretty easy.
Do you get a sense pretty quickly once you're in the room with someone whether they're going to be right for the role?
Huh?
Once you're in the room with someone at a reading, do you get a sense pretty quickly that they're whether or not they're the right one?
Most of the time. At certain time, as it's not their reading. Sometimes they send their self-tapes. It's mostly when I give them direction. When I read them, I'll say I want to change here, I want to change there. I give them direction as if in the shooting. That's when I found out how they react to my direction. The chemistry, how I work with them. Usually, that's the process where I decide how possible it is. Because as you're testing them, you plan a movie in your head. You start a fashion movie in your head. It's like location scouting. You're watching it, and then gradually the movie just come to life in your head. So casting is a big part of it.
And then what about the non-actors or locals? You said there were some of those.
They're locals. I still meet them, reading scenes. So AV will have local helps, like near Calgary. If Calgary doesn't have enough, they send actors from Vancouver, or if nothing works, they send all the way from Toronto and anywhere from Canada. But most of them we got local. we're very lucky.
We have time maybe for one or two more questions. I defer to you. I have too many hands.
The local, they just look right. They're Western.
There's so many spectacular scenes in that movie. It's one of my favorites, and I thank you for it. But there's one image that has always really spoken to me, and it was just while I was watching it tonight that I wondered what you might tell us about it. And it's the one where Ennis is standing up and the fireworks are behind him.
And it's what? Sorry.
When
Ennis is, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you got it.
Ennis is standing up and the fireworks are behind him, and it's just a still of him. I'm wondering what you can tell us about that image, why it was included, or what it meant to you, what it's meant to convey, anything like that.
Okay, sorry.
I think this is just after he's picked the fight with those guys at the fireworks.
Oh,
There's a shot of
Yeah.
him. It's just him alone, and then in the background, the fireworks. He's asking about that shot.
It was in the script, also in the short story. I think it's a good time. It's a good time to show that Ennis is a very traditional man. He's more Western, more violent, more manly than any other. Sometimes he has the urge to show it, and he's the biggest homophobic person who happens to be now. The homosexual man is the biggest homophobic as well. He has to act out. I think that scene gave so much energy that he has to outdo the guys. There are quite a few scenes you see him being violent. He's a scary fellow sometimes. It's very Western as well. Man has to do their thing, and with the firework in the back, it's pretty visualized, so to speak. Yeah, I love those scenes. That scene is Thanksgiving when he fight with the guy and get beat up. Those are tremendous opportunity for actors to unleash their energy for the actor, unleash the prohibited repression that I go through. I like those scenes, and I think actors will live for those scenes so that they can explode. I think it worked out really beautifully. I'm glad the fireworks worked. This is before we use so much CGI. You don't compose that. You have to hit the right cue. The baby has to behave. And all that.
There's so much brilliant stuff in the movie about these internalized notions.
That's, by the way, that's a poster shot. They mentioned, yeah, they use that as the one sheet poster. Yeah,
Perfect. Just to shake
Actually,
it up.
can I ask one question?
Mhm.
I think the spectacular nature, just seeing them within that those mountains and the sheep, and I mean all of that